Hi folks, welcome back. Happy New Year. It's a bit chilly today, mind. Today we're talking about plate compactors, whackers, all that sort of thing. If you want to build like a garden path, not a very good example because that's just laid straight onto the soil. But if you want to do the job properly, or perhaps you want to build a lovely base for a greenhouse or a base for a garden shed, the process is all pretty similar. You dig out the topsoil, get that out the road because you can't really build anything on top of topsoil, it's too soft. And then you fill where the soil used to be with MOT type 1. Gets called that because of the Ministry of Transport in the UK. Hardcore or sub-base in other parts of the world. You flatten it all out, you compact it, and then you put whatever you want on top, whether it's gravel or paving slabs or block paving or whatever you want to do. But the important thing is, after you've put your sub-base down, it needs to be compacted really well so that it doesn't sink. Normally you would hire a petrol-powered plate compactor to do something like that, but there are alternatives now. So today we are going to take a look at this Evolution plate compactor. Two weird things about it. It's electric and it's only 130 watts. How is that even possible? Let's see if it's any good. So I've used quite a few plate compactors over the years, but they've always been the petrol-powered ones. I've never used an electric one. So I'm really quite intrigued as to how this is going to work. So this is the Hulk Electro. It's a 400mm plate compactor. They've also kindly sent this paving pad to go with it. So we'll give it a try. Let's open it, see what's in the box. We'll open this pad thing first. Not that I need this pad, but I'm a little bit intrigued. I'm assuming it's just kind of a rubber overlay for when you're doing block paving, which I don't particularly need that, but yeah, I'll show you it anyway. So that seems pretty hefty. So basically when you're doing block paving, the idea is that you strap this onto the bottom of it when you're sanding the paving afterwards, and this protects your paving stones and stops them getting damaged. Really thick, it's about 5mm thick rubber, and then we've got clamping points on the front and back. Not a lot more to tell you about it than that, so I'm going to pop that back in the box and we'll open the main box and see what's in it. I think this is rated at about, I think it's about 30 kilograms or thereabouts, and if I remember rightly, I think it's like 5 kilonewtons of downward force or something like that. I can't remember. Anyway, we'll go into all the specs later on. Just want to show you what's in the box, and then we'll have a play with it and find out if it's any good, because I'm skeptical but ever hopeful, so we shall see. Power cord, nice proper rubberized power cord, which is a good sign. Can't stand it when you get those horrible plasticky power cords. Bag of screws and bits. We're going to obviously have to put this together. Handles. Oh. I think the biggest challenge is going to be getting it out of the box. Oh, we've got it. Surely that's got to go on there. Instructions, muchins. Well, that's got to go like that, hasn't it? The spring washer's got to go on this side. I'm going to be a smart ass and do it the way that I think I'm supposed to do it, and then probably end up having to take it all to bits and redoing it. But, okay, that's trickier than first imagined. And we've got the top bit. Oh yes, it is the short ones for the top. I can't see the hole on that side. Got it. And then we've got all these little cable-y clip bits. Where do I reckon they go? I'm just looking on the picture. Yeah, I'm going to have the cable coming over the top, because if any stones and stuff get flung up while you're compacting, If the cable's on the top side, it's less likely to hit the cable, isn't it? I suppose. So oh, what? How does that? Oh, they cable. Eh? Oh, right. So these cable tie on. So it goes kind of over the top like that. Chicken's found a cardboard box. What are you doing, chicken? And I think this is for cable storage, apparently, but I haven't... Right. Let's take it outside and... pick it up from the front one, folks. So, we've got a ton of MOT Type 1 hardcore here for my greenhouse space. So let's give it a blast on that. I've raked this out flat, so it's vaguely level. Immediate concerns, it is light. So it's obviously not designed for like professional use, but maybe semi-professional, obviously home DIY use, that sort of thing. But let's actually give it a try and see how it does on this slightly damp hardcore. Okay, so first impressions, straight out the box, it is light. It definitely, it does feel light. And obviously you shouldn't really be pulling it backwards. You should always let it move forwards and do the work itself. But sometimes, you know, if you hit a little patch where you can drag rocks back into a hole and things, you can do that. The steel plate on the bottom doesn't seem to be particularly thick, but I will measure how thick that is. It looks like it's about 3.5mm, maybe 4mm thick plate on the bottom. But on the positive side, so far, it's compacting it all right. So let's check this thickness of the sole plate before we do anything else. It's actually tricky to get the calipers in. Of course, with it not being petrol, I can just tip it up. We've got pretty much exactly 4mm on the button there, if you can see that. So, you know, that's all right. I suspect more professional industrial ones will have much thicker base plates on, but it could be worse. So folks, let's be realistic here. You're not going to be using a little compactor like this for roads or driveways. It's very lightweight and almost toy-like with a slightly rattly plastic body. And as such, I wouldn't recommend this for professional use. But let's look at the options out there for DIY use at the moment. Hyundai do a petrol whacker with 11 kilonewtons of force, but that's 360 quid. Evolution do their own petrol powered one for 340 quid. But for most decent ones these days, you're looking at £500 plus. The little electric evolution is £210 including shipping, and you can get another 10% off by using the discount code shown below, and it makes it even cheaper at just 188 quid. So if you're on a tight budget and you're looking for something lightweight and compact that you can just sling in the back of your car without worrying about petrol going everywhere, and you're only looking to do smaller jobs such as garden paths, patios, shed bases, greenhouse bases, it should be fine. Just bear in mind that we're at a price point here, so don't expect too much from the little thing. And you know what? It's done an alright job. I mean, that's as solid as it's going to get, really. Obviously, it's only putting down 5 kilonewtons of force, and that is about, well, at least half, maybe less than half of what your bigger petrol models are going to be doing. And on top of that, it only weighs 26 kilograms, which is very light. Don't get us wrong, it's still quite heavy to pick up and throw about, but your bigger industrial models, you know, you're looking 60, 70 kilograms, some of them 100 kilograms plus, but certainly for your DIY range petrol models, around the 60 kilograms mark. This is just 26 kilograms, but on the whole, it was fine. It handled okay. The cord is obviously a little bit of a pain in the backside, but not as much of a pain in the backside as I thought it would be. If you're used to using a petrol machine, you are going to find you're going to have to work out a route where you work away from where the cord's coming from. Otherwise, you will be constantly tripping over the cord. Switching it on is dead easy. Obviously, there's no fuel or engine to worry about, so you've just got a safety switch there, and you just pull the trigger. Let go when you're done. If I did have to pick a gripe with it, is that the vibration does seem higher than with the more professional machines. I don't know if that's just in my imagination, but honestly, I can still feel the vibration in my hands now after using it. Obviously, with it being a bit of a smaller machine, it's easier to get into some of the tighter corners and things like that. Nothing feels loose, you know, everything here feels ready to lay on. We're just putting paving slabs down here, so for a greenhouse base, for a shed base, anything like that, I really don't see this being a particular problem, that it's a lighter machine. But what I would say is you're not going to be using it for doing like driveways or anything where you're going to be putting a huge amount of weight on the ground, because 5 kilonewtons of downward force, I think that works out at about 500 kilograms of downward force, whereas your bigger models are putting up to a ton of downwards force in each stroke. So if you imagine on a driveway, cars can easily weigh a ton, 2 tons, 3 tons for trucks and commercial vehicles. So a little whacker plate like this is just simply not going to put that kind of force down into the ground. But if you go over it enough times, if it's just a small area, as I say, for a patio, paths, anything around the garden, shed bases, greenhouse bases, all that sort of thing, I think it'll do the job absolutely fine. What I would do, and as you probably saw here, I did quite a lot of passes in all directions that I could. I was a bit like obstructed by fences and bushes and things, but I would just do many passes, and that should make up for the lack of weight and the downward force that it applies. But honestly, and I'm not just saying this, I'm walking around on this, and this just feels like a normal compacted base, like any compacted base that you would do with a petrol machine. So yeah, I must admit, I still haven't quite worked out how the cord storage is supposed to work. It's something to do. You can't be doing that. What? Because there's nothing to hook the cord onto at the top end, so I just don't understand what that's supposed to do. No idea how that's supposed to work for cord storage. If anyone knows, let us know in the comments. Anyway, whatever, I'll just kind of wrap the cord off and hang it off it somehow. It needs a hook like there. I'm going to make something to hook the cord on. The other thing as well is that it is designed that you can kind of hang it up. So I guess what you would do is, well, I'm saying designed, it does feel like it would hang up, is more the point. So if I was going to hang this up on the wall in the garage, 2 big hooks at the top there, or a couple of big hooks here-ish, with that against the wall, I think that would hang up absolutely fine. It does have a tendency to kind of obviously do that, but once that bit's against a wall, it can't really do that. So just bear in mind, it is nearly 30 kilograms, so it's not exactly light. Obviously, you're not going to be able to pick up the petrol models with one hand, and this you potentially can. And by the way, if you want to see the building of our brand new greenhouse, along with the base and everything else, make sure you subscribe to my Andy Mac channel, which is where all the gardening content now lives. So there you go, folks. I hope you found that vaguely useful. If you need a plate compactor and you want to buy one and you want an ultra cheap electric one, the Evolution's probably a good starting point. And if nothing else, it gets you used to how they work, and then you can potentially move up from there to a more powerful petrol one, or you can hire a great big one if that's what you want to do. Completely up to you, depending on the sort of job that you want to do. For now, folks, I am absolutely freezing my butt off out here, so I'm heading back in the house where it's nice and toasty and warm. Might put the fire on. As per usual, folks, look after each other, be nice to one another. We shall see you next time. Tatty bye.